President William Ruto has finally appointed the 6 judges that former President Uhuru Kenyatta rejected on this 14th day of September 2022. We have that as our top story, plus much more on News Tonight. Welcome to the broadcast. Tonight,
I, Joel Maurangugi, Judge of the Court of Appeal, do swear in the name of the Almighty God to diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya and to impartially do justice in accordance with this Constitution.
President William Ruto presides over the swearing in of 6 judges that were rejected by Uhuru Kenyatta.
It is important that we have an efficient, independent judiciary.
Ruto vows to respect the independence of the judiciary. Also tonight, a showdown looms as governors meet tomorrow to elect Council of Governors Chair Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru to face off with Ole Lenku of Kajiado. Plus, 2 brothers brutally murdered in Kiambu County and their mutilated bodies recovered in Joska area. Just who killed them? Good evening once more and welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Anne Wairimo. Tonight, 6 judges rejected by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta have finally been sworn in at State House, Nairobi in a ceremony presided over by President William Ruto. The ceremony, also graced by former Chief Justice David Maraga, opened a new chapter on the relationship between the judiciary and the executive amid concerns among lawyers that the judiciary could be compromised by the newfound camaraderie. And as Apollo Kamau reports, President Ruto has promised to uphold the rule of law and protect judicial independence.
Chief Justice Emeritus, how are you?
After a 3-year wait in the cold exacerbated by a standoff between retired President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Chief Justice David Maraga,
I, Muchelule Agri Otsiula, Judge of the Court of Appeal, do swear.
6 judges, 4 headed to the Appellate Court and 2 to the Environment and Land Court respectively, were finally sworn in at State House, Nairobi on Wednesday in an event presided over by President William Ruto and graced by Chief Justice Martha Koome and her predecessor David Maraga. Ruto recognized the agony of the 6 judges, whom Kenyatta said failed to meet the required threshold.
I know the judges here have waited a bit longer than they should, but I think all that ends well is well.
The ceremony, the first of its kind under President Ruto, opened a new chapter between the 2 arms of the government, with Ruto committing to protect the independence of the judiciary and fight impunity, contrary to President Kenyatta, who often clashed with Maraga for disregarding court orders.
Even as president, I have limitations, and I should respect those limitations. And all other arms of government have their limitations, and we must all live within the bounds of our mandate, so that we can have a country that is based on the rule of law. Let me repeat again, it is the rule of law, not the rule of man.
The reset of relations between the judiciary and the executive raised the alarm among a section of the legal fraternity who are now fearing the judiciary might be compromised due to executive goodies.
To us already, we are starting feeling that the executive wants to go in bed with the judiciary. Is there an intention to subvert the rule of law? Who will protect Wanjiku?
Maraga had accused Uhuru of creating a backlog of cases for failing to appoint the judges. President Kenyatta suffered a series of setbacks during his reign, among them the nullification of his victory in 2017 and the BBI process meant to amend the constitution, which the court declared as illegal. True to his word, President William Ruto has lived up to the billing on Wednesday's swearing in of the 6 judges, marking a new chapter on the executive engagement with the judiciary, unlike during his predecessor's regime. Apollo Kamau, TV47 at State House.
Well, thank you very much, Apollo Kamau, for that. Time now for a very short break, but don't go away. We'll be back with more.
on the next episode of Hello, Mr. Right.
Mr. Kimgedo, tunataka ku-upgrade, unaona?
I need a guy who will spend money on me. Is that too much to ask her?
Wacha niongee, hata 50 bob ya credo siwezi kutumia daily.
Aina shida, that's why you're not my type.
No, he's too young.
If you know you're watching from home and you fought for Kenya's independence, your wife is here.
I just saw those eyes and I was like, damn.
Whatever you're watching from, this is most definitely Hello, Mr. Right.
This Sunday at 8 p.m.
Authentic, natural, planned. Transforming. Endless benefits. Slaty, purely Kenyan. Buy now on Jumia or Amazon.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
All week, you look forward to the weekend. And we are here to help you make the most of it. Catch me, Karen Karini, on Fridays. And with me, Muthoni Maina, on the weekend.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, a showdown looms tomorrow as governors meet to elect the chairperson of the Council of Governors. This will open another battle between Azimio la Umoja and Kenya Kwanza coalitions as they seek to control the powerful body. The newly elected governors converge in Mombasa from Thursday to Saturday for induction, and they are also expected to elect the 6th chairperson.
Another showdown is expected this week as the Council of Governors convene in Mombasa for a 2-day retreat, a meeting that is expected to culminate into the election of a new chairperson of the council. And just as it was witnessed in the elections of speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate, governors will most likely vote along their party lines. Notable governors seeking to clinch the council's leadership include Anne Waiguru of Kirinyaga, Joseph Ole Lenku of Kajiado, Mandera's Mohamed Edan Halif, and Makueni's Mutula Kilonzo Jr. They face off in yet another battle for numbers, bearing in mind that Kenya Kwanza and Azimio One Kenya coalitions have a close tie of 23 elected governors each. The governors are, however, pushing for consensus contrary to a majority vote. Of the 47 elected governors, 11 retained their seats, 28 assumed office for the first time, and 8 are pioneer governors who recaptured their seats after losing them in the 2017 general election. The Council of Governors was formed to serve the interest of the devolved units, and since its inception, there have been 5 chairpersons, that is former governors Isaac Ruto, Peter Munya, Josephat Nanok, Wycliffe Oparanya, and the immediate former Martin Wambora. Also set for the election are chairpersons of various subcommittees and the whip. The council holds elections after every 2 years. Flora Limuki, TV 47.
Now, all is set for the swearing-in of Mombasa and Kakamega governors-elect respectively. Fernandez Baraza and Abdul Swamad Nasir will be sworn in tomorrow in a ceremony that will be attended by at least 5,000 people. Here's Paul Kirobi with more.
On Thursday, 15th of September, the two governors-elect Fernandez Baraza of Kakamega and Mombasa's Abdul Somadi Nasir will take their oath of office following the election on the 29th of August in Kakamega County. The ceremony that is scheduled to take place between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. will be held at the Bukungu Stadium, with over 5,000 people expected to grace the occasion.
Tumepatiwa pia kiwango ambacho tunaweza tumia kutoka control of budget kwa kiwango cha milioni 8 peke yake.
Hakikishia wananchi wote kwamba tumefanya juhudi zote za kuhakikisha usalama wa mahali function ama sherehe ya kesho itafanyikia hapa kwa stadium na mahali ya reception na hata kaunti mzima ya Kakamega.
Dignitaries and visitors have been advised to arrive at the venue on time. The outgoing Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, who has served for 2 terms, will be expected to hand over instruments of power to the incoming Governor Fernandez Baraza, who won under the ODM ticket.
All logistics are in place, starting from, like I've said, representatives coming from the 12 sub-counties and also from other places in this country. We have facilitated them. Then we'll have a sitting here. This stadium should be able to accommodate as many as possible.
Wale watakuwa wanaingia kwa sherehe ya kesho kufika mapema kwa sababu tutakuwa na security checks kabla waingie.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission says it will send representative to witness the signing of integrity oaths by the two governors. In Mombasa County, the chairperson of the transition of the committee, Job Tumbo, says the ceremony has cost the taxpayer 6 million shillings.
Wengine watabaka mbalimbali, magavana, wabunge, members of the county assembly na wengine ambao sitaweza kuwataja hivi saizi. Lakini wako ma VVIPs ambao kwa hapa, kuna ma VIPs, kuna dignitaries katika hafla hii ya kesho. Kwa hiyo matarajio yangu ni kwamba kulingana na maandalizi ambayo tumeyafanya, sherehe ya kesho itakuwa ni ya kufana.
The ceremony will take place at the Mamangina Waterfront. Mombasa Governor-elect Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir has assured residents that his government will address key issues affecting them, including licenses for traders. Nasir further commended President William Ruto's directive of returning port operations from Naivasha dry port to Mombasa.
Amri iliyoweza kutolewa na rais ya kwa huduma za bandari ziweze kurejeshwa ni jambo ambalo kwamba tunalikaribisha, ni kitu tumepigania kwa muda sana. Na tulieleza wazi ya kama kulipa deni lile la SGR kuna njia mubadala ambayo kwamba unaweza kutumika, sio lazima kuumiza uchumi wa eneo moja peke yake.
Abdul Somad Sharif was elected on an ODM ticket, a party that is dominant in the coast region. He takes over from Ali Hassan Joho. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Moving on, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Noor Gabo, has commended President William Ruto for his commitment to sign an executive order giving the National Police Service financial autonomy. President William Ruto has vowed to enhance financial autonomy in the National Police Service by transferring its budget from the Office of the President. The move, Gabo says, will transform the National Police Service. Mike Kagungo with more.
President William Ruto is expected to sign an executive order giving the National Police Service financial autonomy during his first address to the nation after his inauguration. President William Ruto said the move will ensure independence in the National Police Service and weed out corruption.
As required by Article 245 of the Constitution, the Inspector General of Police is mandated to exercise independent command over the National Police Service. The service's operational autonomy, however, has been undermined by the continued financial dependence on the Office of the President.
According to the head of state, the financial independence of the police will give impetus to the fight against graft and end the political weaponization of the criminal justice system in the country.
I have instructed that the instruments conferring financial autonomy to the National Police Service by transferring their budget from the Office of the President and designating the Inspector General as the accounting officer be placed on my desk for signature this afternoon.
During the campaign period, President Ruto condemned the alleged use of chiefs, the men in uniform and cabinet secretaries, in political campaigns.
It is our responsibility to build institutions so that they can help us manage our democracy. Let us not engage ourselves in destroying every institution.
His stand put him on a collision course with some cabinet secretaries who had sworn their political allegiance to his main opponent, Raila Odinga, who enjoyed the support of his predecessor, Uhuru Kenyatta. When the executive order is signed, the police boss will exercise independent command of the service, as the budget will be transferred from the office of the president to the office of the Inspector General of Police. The IG, and not the Interior Principal Secretary, will be the accounting officer. The move was aimed at ending dependency on office of the president.
Financial independence of the police will give impetus to the fight against corruption and end the political weaponization of the criminal justice system, an undertaking I made to the people of Kenya.
Acting Inspector General of Police Noor Gabo has welcomed Ruto's commitment to sign the executive order. In a statement released Wednesday, Gabo said the move will transform the National Police Service, and I quote, "We wholeheartedly welcome this move, since this autonomy shall go a long way to empower the service plan ahead and provide services in a timely, proactive and transformative way." While describing police as patriotic Kenyans who, if empowered, can better maintain law and order, safeguard peace and protect property, Ruto committed to make the Kenya Police Service that is respected. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Moving on, President William Ruto, hours into office on Tuesday, announced an end to the fuel subsidy, an order that is set to be implemented next month. A move which will set up Kenyans for higher transportation and production costs. In his speech, President Ruto said Kenya's economy cannot sustain the fuel subsidy. But what does this mean to Kenyans? William Moige with more details.
In his inauguration speech, President William Ruto dropped a fuel subsidy, stating that the economy cannot sustain the current subsidies put by the previous administration in the coming months. President Ruto left many Kenyans guessing his short-term move in a bid to deal with public concerns about the high cost of living, albeit acknowledging the cost of food and transportation was unaffordable to most households. Ruto hinted on to a policy shift that may see him leave the prices of food and fuel to be determined by the market forces of supply and demand, at least in the near term. The removal of fuel cost stabilization program could see pump prices shoot above 200 shillings per litre for the first time.
Consumption subsidy interventions are prone to abuse. They distort markets and create uncertainty, including artificial shortages of the very products they seek to subsidize.
The government has since April last year spent an average of 9 billion shillings to subsidize on diesel, super petrol and kerosene costs, which rose to an average of 12 billion shillings in the last 4 months alone, highlighting the adverse impact of intervention on the country's revenue.
If the subsidy continues to the end of the financial year, it will cost taxpayers 280 billion, equivalent to the entire national government development budget.
Fuel inflation was the key driver of overall consumer prices in Kenya in the past year due to higher pump prices. Ruto making it clear that his new administration will ease high food inflation by subsidizing the cost of farm inputs. He made no reference to the direction he will take in lowering the cost of fuel, which is partly driven by global factors.
Our strategy to bring down the cost of living is predicated on empowering producers. The forecast for maize harvest this year is below 30 million bags against a normal production of 40 million bags. The main cause of the decline in production is the high cost of farm inputs.
The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, will announce new monthly prices for the period ending October 14th. Without the subsidy, motorists will have paid historic highs of 214 shillings per litre of super petrol and 206 shillings for diesel for the current monthly pricing cycle. The approach taken by the new administration to discontinue subsidies is in line with the comments made by the International Monetary Fund (IMF) by the administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta to end the subsidies by October. Moige William, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, moving on, President William Ruto, through a statement, revoked Kenya's recognition of the Sahrawi Democratic Republic as an independent state. And as Beatrice Watari now reports, the head of state has said that he will initiate steps to wind down the entity's presence in Nairobi.
Kenya was among the 41 United Nations member states which recognized Sahrawi as an independent state and has been at the forefront in championing for the de-escalation of the conflict between Sahrawi and Morocco under the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's reign. However, the Western Sahara question has over time threatened to destabilize the Kenya-Morocco ties in the past, with the most alarming incident occurring when Western Sahara opened an embassy in Kenya in February 2014. A day after the SADR President Brahim Gali attended William Ruto's inauguration ceremony, President William Ruto, through a statement, made it clear that Kenya does not recognize the state as an independent country. A move that was most likely sparked by a meeting with Morocco's King, His Majesty Mohammed IV, who visited William Ruto at the State House to offer him a congratulatory message. Ruto further stated that steps to wind down the entity's presence have begun, including the shutting down of its embassy located in Kilimani, Nairobi. Over time, Sahrawi Republic, also known as Western Sahara, has been seeking to transition from a semi-autonomous region to a self-rule state, a discussion that Morocco has adamantly objected, opposing proposals for the country to decide its future through a referendum. Reporting for TV47, my name is Beatrice Watari.
Moving on, Naivasha residents have criticized President William Ruto's directive that reverted Naivasha port operations back to Mombasa in line with his campaign promise. According to residents, the move will lead to job losses in the area and are now appealing to President Ruto to reconsider the decision. Port operations were moved to Naivasha by the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, as Chepkomoi now reports.
The move to revert clearing and forwarding services to the port of Mombasa from the Naivasha dry port has left tongues wagging, with investment worth billions of shillings at stake. This comes just a day after President William Ruto directed the services be relocated to Mombasa, a move that has angered Naivasha residents.
This afternoon, I will be issuing instructions for clearing of goods and other attendant operational issues to revert to the port of Mombasa, as I made a commitment to Kenyans. This will restore thousands of jobs in the city of Mombasa.
However, Mombasa City County residents have welcomed the move, with Governor Abdul Somad Nasir together with Islamic religious leaders thanking the president for keeping his word, saying the move will indeed boost the county's economy.
Eleza wazi ya kwa hata kama ni kulipa deni lile la SGR, kuna njia mubadala ambao kwamba unaweza kutumika, sio lazima kuumiza uchumi wa eneo moja peke yake. Sio lazima kuumiza uchumi wa eneo moja peke yake. Na hili ni jambo ambalo tulikubali na tulikaribisha.
Kuchukua majukumu ya kutekeleza ahadi aliyoitoa kwamba akichaguliwa kuwa rais, kitu cha kwanza ataregesha huduma za bandari katika kaunti ya Mombasa, na hilo tunashukuru amelitenda.
However, Naivasha residents have criticized the move, terming it as a major blow. Those we spoke to said many residents will lose their jobs and have urged on President Ruto to reconsider his decision.
Sasa mimi naonelea hiyo port wacha ikae huku Maimaio. Hata wale watu walikuwa wameinvest huku Maimaio, kuna mtu amejenga, sasa tena itabidi na yeye atafute kazi nyingine. Ni wako na matarajio ya kupata makazi huku. Sana sana sisi vijana ni wengi sana.
hii port kutolewa huku irudishwe huko Mombasa, sioni ifai kulingana na wale watu walikuwa wamenunua mashamba na watu walikuwa wamejenga huko, na tukaona hii town ilikuwa imeanza kufunguka. Kama ingefunguka sana,
unatuletea mwelekeo muupi ambayo utatuambia kwamba ndio nimerudisha Mombasa, lakini nyinyi nitakuja na mradi fulani ambao utawasaidia. Hiyo ndio kitu tulikuwa tunatarajia Mheshimiwa Rais atuambie.
Chepkomoi TV 47.
Now, Diana Chepkomoi, a 24-year-old girl who was rescued from Saudi Arabia where she was allegedly tortured by her employer, has resumed her studies at the Meru University of Science and Technology. Diana, who had deferred her studies in search of greener pastures to enable her support her siblings, was received at the Meru University of Science and Technology, where she will continue with her studies and a full scholarship. And in Kilifi with more.
Early Wednesday at the Meru University of Science and Technology, the gates swing open for Diana Chepkomoi, a former student of the university. 24-year-old Diana deferred her studies in 2021 due to financial challenges and traveled to Saudi Arabia to seek employment, where she was allegedly tortured by her employer. Today, the dream once deferred has come to a reality.
As Meru University of Science and Technology family, when one of us stumbles involved in issues, we hold them back up and ensure they keep working strong.
Diana's tribulations came to light a fortnight ago after her photos surfaced online. Her once glowing face, sparkling eyes and full cheeks were replaced by a visibly unhealthy dull skin, lazy eyes, sunken cheeks and unkempt hair. This stirring an uproar, forcing the government to intervene.
Diana is here. She's arrived safe and sound, though she's looking weak and tired.
While receiving her, the university's Vice-Chancellor Romana Zodhiambo said that they are dedicated to ensure Diana achieves her dream by offering her an opportunity to continue with her studies at the university.
You remember, Diana was actually also responsible for paying even fees for some of our siblings. That is selflessness exemplified. The purpose fueling you was to serve others, something we all need to learn and practice more often.
Among those present during Diana's arrival is a well-wisher named Kipembe Mporo, who has promised to cater for Diana's education all through her 4 years in campus.
I'm so happy to meet Diana, and I have told the VC that the rest can take care of the welfare of Diana. Diana, from today, I'll pay her school fees for the next 4 years. And this is just an example of so many other young girls who are going through so many problems in their upbringing.
This story is now beyond me. It's not only about me. I want my story to be the voice of the voiceless. There are so many people suffering. There are so many girls out there who don't have the voice. And since God has blessed my voice to be heard, my story to be heard, my story has touched so many. I want through me, through my story, other people get help.
Diana's case will serve as an example to the many Kenyans that flee the country in search of greener pastures in the Gulf countries. And Rina Kilemi, TV 47.
Well, Kenyan women have been urged to take precaution when seeking jobs in the Middle East and specifically Saudi Arabia. This is after a rise in cases of mistreatment, death, and unexplained disappearances of local women in the Gulf country. Human rights group Uhuru has urged the government to also stiffen the labor regulations to protect Kenyans against exploitation by rogue employment agents. This comes as a family in Malindi is also in a state of confusion after their daughter left the country in March this year for greener pastures in the Gulf, never to be heard of again.
Kabla mtu kuondoka ama kuvuka mipaka kwenda upande huo, lazima ahakikishe ni agent gani anamchukua. Na wengi utawapata wanakuambia wananyanyaswa na matajiri zao. wengine wanakuambia ni katika hali ya kutaka kujitetea, labda yuko kule bosi huku anamtongoza.
Wengine akifika kule shida zinamzidia, mtu anaingia under depression, ni mahali papya, haelewi chochote. So lazima wafanyiwe ushauri kabla wajaenda. Wakifika huko kwena mtu anaweza kuwafanyia ushauri, watengeze system ziwe open za watu waweze kushauriwa, na wakirudi pia waweze kupata ushauri.
Kwetu ni ombi tu kusema kwamba kama serikali na zile embassy lazima wafuate kufuatilizia zile kesi, kwa sababu hichi si kisa cha kwanza.
Mtoto wangu aliniwatia wajukuu hapa, sina ya kuwafanya hawa wajukuu, hata niko nao ninalia nao, hata kama toki kwenda shule tena.
Kule ni mzima ama aliajiriwa na bado hajatuma hata pesa kufikia wakati huo mpaka sahihi. Tena akapiga simu tena agent akasema kwamba basi dada yetu amefariki. Ndiyo, dada yetu amefariki, sasa tutampata vipi?
Quite sad, and we hope that the family really gets justice. At 30 minutes past the hour, time now for a very short break. Don't go away, we'll be back with more.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
At Streisand School of Medical Health Science and Technology, we prepare the change makers of tomorrow by training them in theater technology, medical engineering, science laboratory and health records, applied biology, environmental health science, nutrition and dietetics, ICT, counseling psychology, and many more. Enroll with us today and take a certificate or diploma course. Visit our campuses in Juja, Nairobi West, Kisumu, and Homa Bay and get your career going.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Do you aspire to acquire knowledge and skills relevant to the job market and entrepreneurship? Join us at KIPS Technical College, one of the largest NEC examination centers in Kenya and the premier tertiary institution established and mandated to operate by TVET Authority. We lead when it comes to offering high-quality technical and professional training and bringing out the best in our students. Our ultra-modern learning facilities, highly qualified and experienced lecturers, attachment liaison office, counseling office make us the preferred choice. Limited HELB loans are available to students. Our intake is ongoing for full-time, evening and online classes. Join us today and experience the KIPS difference. KIPS Technical College, your sure path to success.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. President William Ruto today held bilateral talks with Sudan President Salva Kiir and Somalia President Hassan Mohamud at State House, Nairobi. And as Muthoni Maina reports, the meeting focused on various bilateral agreements, including security and regional infrastructure development.
President William Ruto and First Lady Rachel Ruto's first day in office kicked off on a high note with a buzz of activities, from holding bilateral talks to a clarion call with the famous Zabron singers that brought about the thrill to a musical note, a moment that was highlighted through their social media pages. Donning a black suit and a yellow tie, Ruto for the better part of the morning held bilateral talks with South Sudan President Salva Kiir, Somalia's Hassan Mohamud, Congo's Denis Sassou at State House, Nairobi. Heading to the details of the discussions, he said negotiations and areas of cooperation, including security and regional infrastructure development, were discussed with his Somalia counterpart, among them boosting trade for miraa and fish farmers, easing the movement between the two nations through the fast tracking of the implementation of the Joint Commission for Cooperation. South Sudan boss Kiir, the two countries will work on enhancing intra-African trade through the strengthening of the East African community and other regional economic blocs in the continent. He also held talks with the French delegation led by Chrysler, the Secretary of State to the Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs, not forgetting the health sector, as he held talks with Cuba's Deputy Prime Minister, Maria Chapman. Later, the head of state and First Lady Rachel Ruto held a meeting with Zabron singers from Tanzania. Rachel had earlier on met Her Excellency Samira Bawumia, the second lady to the Vice President of Ghana at State House, Nairobi. Muthoni Maina, TV47.
Our family in Ndeya village, Meru, Kiambu County, is calling for justice after their sons were brutally murdered early last week. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, the badly mutilated bodies of the two brothers were found in Joska area, Nairobi County, just a week after they went missing.
Number residents in Ndeya sub-county, Limuru constituency in Kiambu County are reeling in shock.
We really do apologize for that technical mix-up. I'm sure that story is being worked on and we'll come back with it later on. I do understand that we have it. Police officers from Ndeya sub-county in Limuru constituency have launched a probe following the murder of a middle-aged man who was shot dead outside his gate by unknown assailants.
In Ndeya village, Limuru, Kiambu County, pain, sorrow and despair engulfed the home of Joseph Kimani for 10 days now after losing two of his sons in an alleged murder incident.
Tunazika watoto wawili. Kwa nini? Why? Our question is why? Kwa nini wauawe?
26-year-old Johnson Karuga and his 24-year-old brother Kevin Kimani were last seen on the night of September 4th at a nightclub in Nairobi's Kamulu area where they were watching a football match.
Ile mambo tunasikia inasemekana hawa watu walikuwa wameenda kuwatch mpira ya on Sunday, na wakitoka kuwatch mpira hiyo mambo ndio ilitokea. Tunasikia fununu ni kupigwa, walipigwa na wale watu sisi wenyewe hatujawajua.
The two did not return home, and when their father Kamau tried to contact them, his efforts proved futile as their phones were switched off. A week later, the family received very disturbing news that the badly mutilated bodies of Karuga and Kimani were recovered near a bridge in Joska area, Nairobi County, and taken to the city mortuary.
Mambo na haki itendeke. Polisi wafanye ile kazi inafaa. Na hii serikali mpya, shauri mambo yangu imefanyika, watoto wangu wamefanyiwa hii kitu na hii serikali mpya.
So we are appealing to the new regime to ensure that these kinds of incidences remain to be a thing of the past. And we are hoping that they will take swift action and bring justice to this family, bring justice to the father, and, Kenyans in general.
Post-mortem results have established that the two sustained serious injuries after they were hit by a blunt object, leading to a blood clot.
According to the post-mortem reports, we are told that they suffered multiple organ failure due to blunt injuries. And this is no way for any young man to lose his life.
Kiangalia vile maneno iko, baba yao amekuwa akifanya kazi ya kulima. Na unaona ukiangalia shamba vile jua imewaka Ndeya, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Tukienda kutoka hapo, mama yao ukiangalia hapa haumuoni, ako hospitali Kenyatta, amelazwa huko kwa miezi 2 juu ya mtoto wao mdogo amekuwa mgonjwa na amelazwa Kenyatta hospitali. Na bado hiyo ni bili ingine na iko huko, bado tu ni sisi inaangalia.
This incident has prompted Haki Africa, who visited the affected family, to call for speedy investigations into the tragic incident.
So our concern is that the killers are still walking scot-free in our communities. No person has been arrested. Over a week later, no single person has been arrested over this incident.
Na ndiposa tunaomba serikali na haswa DCI tafadhali waingilie hii maneno. Ndiposa tujue kiini ya hizi maneno.
The bodies of the two brothers are currently lying at Tigoni mortuary. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Moving on, the coffin of the late Queen Elizabeth II will lay in state at Westminster for the next 4 days starting today, where members of the public will have the chance to pay their last respects. And as Stanley Nyaringita reports, Her Majesty will be laid to rest next to her husband, Prince Philip, next Monday in the King George VI Memorial Chapel.
The coffin carrying the remains of Queen Elizabeth II, adorned with a royal standard and the imperial state crown, was meticulously pulled by a gun carriage of the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery during a military procession from Buckingham Palace, where the coffin was lying in rest, to the Palace of Westminster Wednesday, in protocols that are deep-rooted in the monarch history. Members of the royal family, donned in monarch regalia, including King Charles III and Prince Harry, flanked the carriage on foot till it arrived at Westminster. Here, the synchronization of the military and religious traditions intertwined in the room that was filled with a somber mood. The coffin, which was placed on the catafalque, will lay in state for the next 4.5 days, starting Wednesday, even as members of the public get a chance to pay their respects. After the politicians had their maiden opportunity to offer their respects, a service was held by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby.
In the last day, when all things are gathered up in Christ, we may with them enjoy the fullness of thy promises. Through Jesus Christ our Lord.
As clearly outlined in the Operation London Bridge, the code name for the plans for the Queen's death, the burial protocols will see Her Majesty's coffin lowered into the royal vault before being interned in the King George VI Memorial Chapel, located inside St. George's Chapel, next to her husband, Prince Philip, on Monday, the 19th of September 2022. This will be followed by a committal service. King Charles III and the Queen Consort, Camilla, will be in attendance along with the rest of the Queen's children. Other world leaders are also expected to grace the ceremony, which will be pompous, somber and colorful.
Well, moving on, residents of Saka in Tana River County are living in fear after a 16-year-old boy was killed by a hippo. Mohammed Abdi met his death while herding livestock on the banks of the Tana River. According to his companions, Abdi was attacked by the hippo while in a group of 5, with the rest managing to escape and report about the tragedy. Most of the residents now say that they earn a living from farming, grazing their livestock, burning charcoal and selling firewood, among other activities along River Tana, thus calling on KWS to increase their patrols, especially early in the morning when the residents go about their activities. They are also calling on the government to compensate those affected.
Hii inakuanga kawaida ya kwamba kiboko inavamia watoto ama watu wazima kila wakati, kwa sababu hii jamii inaishi hapa ni wafugaji, na mara kwa mara wakati watu wanalisha mifugo yao wakikuja kwa maji huwa wanakumbana na shida kama hii ya kiboko. Hii ni kisa ya 3 ya kiboko imewahi tendeka hapa Saka location.
Sisi binadamu tumewacha mambo ya kuwinda wanyama, lakini sasa imegeuka ya kwamba wanyama ndo wanawinda binadamu. Kama sisi kama binadamu tumeacha kuua wanyama, kwa sababu leo hii hata ukipatikana na mnyama mdogo ambaye anaitwa digdig utafungwa maisha ambaye hujafikiria.
Naomba serikali ifanye kulipa wale watu wao na wanyama wote. Hii si kupenda kwao. Hii wakati ya ukame. Wakati ya ukame lazima hii wanyama kuja karibu na watu ndio wapate malisho. Kwa nini uone wakati iko mvua haipatikani watu kuuawa na wanyama? Hiyo inamaanisha wakati ya ukame hawa wanyama wanakuja karibu na wanadamu ndio wapate malisho.
Really sad. Now, tourism stakeholders in Kilifi County have expressed optimism that the industry will boom again after the formation of a new county and national government following peaceful elections witnessed in the country. Speaking during a monthly cleanup exercise organized by the Progress Welfare Association of Malindi, the spokesman for the Italian community, Freddy Di Curatolo, noted that more tourists are expected to arrive in the country for the December holidays. According to Senior Sergeant Abu Bocha from KWS, the cleanup exercise has helped save endangered species in the ocean and maintain cleanliness on the beaches.
We are so happy as Italian community, as stakeholders, that the election ended peacefully, and so we are ready now to have tourism back. We are expecting more people on December. Already one charter from Italy started in August, and we are expecting 4 to 5 weekly charters in December.
When you come to clean, please share your ideas, tell us what your plans are, and we'll work very closely with you. And it's not just the county government and the national government, also the donors, World Bank.
Tumekuwa mzuri sana, tumefurahi, tumepata magroup tofauti kushirikiana